With the rise of the gig economy, worker classification has become a hot topic.
And none felt it hotter than Uber and Lyft this year. Let's do an article breakdown.
So I cannot imagine my life without DoorDash, without Instacart, because I don't have time to go and spend 2-3 hours at Costco between drive and shopping, and I have to do that once or twice a week. And I'm so grateful that these gig jobs exist because, one, I don't have to go. Two, these people make extra money and can support their families, and it's just very convenient.
So the issue was in about, I believe, 2019, AB5 came out that said that all these Uber and Lyft drivers have to be classified as employees, not independent contractors. And Uber and Lyft fought the bill, saying, our folks want to be independent contractors, not employees, because they like the flexibility. They don't want to be full-time employees or part-time employees. And B, we don't have the capacity to oversee these folks as employees. We don't have the capacity to give them health insurance, to give them lunches and breaks, and do all of the administrative work that goes into that.
Plus, that's going to increase the cost for all users.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that was one of their arguments too. The reason why we can keep the cost down is because they're independent contractors and we don't have to pay for employing these folks. So then they fought it, and they basically said, we're going to leave California and not do business here if this continues. So then Prop 22 was passed, said that they could be, like specifically for gig drivers such as Uber, Lyft, Instacart, they could be classified as independent contractors, even though technically under the law they should be an employee.
Well, I think that's great. It's a win for Californians.
I
One,
agree.
we get to have all those convenient services. Two, for the citizens of our state to have that extra income, especially for single parents and those sharing custody.
Yeah. No, and the funny thing is, I remember being on the defense side when all of that stuff was happening, and I was like, this doesn't really benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit workers if they can't have the flexibility, A, and B, then it's going to be more expensive for the consumer, and they're going to have to actually, like, apply for work, as opposed to right now, they just sign up. As long as they have good reviews on the app, they can pretty much get the job.
And the state can still control how much taxes they collect because the Uber and Lyft will issue 1099 to those people.
Yeah.
And the workers who are independent contractors may qualify for cheaper health insurance through Covered California, which could cost less sometimes than what their premium would be through an employer.
And like a lot of immigrants, they come to this country, they don't speak English. What can they do? I mean, a lot of my uncles, when we first came to this country, most of them were taxi drivers. But then when Uber and Lyft came out, they all went to Uber and Lyft. Even though they were barely able to utilize technology, it just made a lot more sense to do Uber and Lyft than it was. And I remember even like with the taxi drivers, it was so inefficient because you have to wait for a fare. And they would just sit around at these cafes like waiting, whereas Uber and Lyft, they set their own schedules. They turn on the app whenever they want to do work. They come out to downtown and they, bid on the work. And it just makes sense for everyone.
I thought that the cabs will now be cheaper because Uber and Lyft are a competition. So recently when I traveled, I took a cab from the airport.
Expensive.
To get to the airport from my house, I paid $60 for using Uber. To get back using a taxi from the airport, I paid $160 plus then tip on top of it. And I was like, what? I was surprised that it was way more expensive. I thought, they had to compete and it would be about the same, but it wasn't.
I'm surprised taxis are still in business with Uber and Lyft in place. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how it turns out. But basically the lawsuit is that the drivers who worked for Uber and Lyft want back pay for the time between AB5 went into effect before Prop 22 was passed.